Hello, and welcome to Advanced Music School. My name's Matt, and this is Lesson 3 of our first online series, helping you to understand and achieve Grade 1 on the piano. In this lesson, we will follow on from Lesson 2, where we learnt how to read the right hand on the piano using treble clef and learnt how to read different rhythms. This lesson will focus on reading the left hand on the piano, and we'll be looking at more complex rhythms with some examples. First of all, let's recap what we learnt in the last video. In order to read treble clef, we need to remember two words and phrases. Face is space, and every good boy deserves food. These help us to read dots on the stave. Each space represents a letter of the word face, F-A-C-E, and for the lines we use every good boy deserves food. The first letters of each of these words represents the name of the note on each line of the stave, E, G, B, D, F. And we can of course go above and below the stave using ledger lines to extend the stave following the musical alphabet up or down from the notes on the stave. The left hand plays reading something called the bass clef. We read the bass clef in a different way to the treble clef, and therefore we use different words and phrases to remember the notes. The first is all cows eat grass. The first letter represents each of the spaces in bass clef. The first is A for all, the second is C for cows, the third is E for eats, and the fourth is G for grass. For the lines, we can use great big dogs frighten Albert in a similar way. The first letter for each of these represents the notes for the lines. The bottom line is G for great, the second line is B for big, the third line is D for dogs, the fourth line is F for frighten, and the last line is A for Albert. If we combine these two phrases to give us the entire stave, we can see that it is in alphabetical order in the same way as treble clef, starting on G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A. Also, similar to the treble clef, we can extend the stave using ledger lines. At the top, B, C, D, and E, and at the bottom, F, E, D, and C. The C above the stave is also middle C. Middle C looks the same as on the treble clef, but is above the stave rather than below. So now we can see that the treble and bass clefs connect using middle C, and that is the basics of reading piano music. In the previous lesson, we looked at different lengths of notes. This included crotchets, which are one-beat notes, quavers, which are half-beat notes, semiquavers, which are quarter-beat notes, minims, which are two-beat notes, semibreves, which are four-beat notes, and dotted notes, which add half of the original value of the note on top. For example, 1 plus half of 1 equals 1.5 beats, which is a dotted crotchet. In this lesson, we're going to look at triplets. A triplet is the name of fitting 3 notes into the space of 2. Triplets have a bracket over the top of them with a 3 above it. If we have 3 quavers that are to be played as a triplet, then these notes fit into the space of 2 quavers, which equals 1 beat. Therefore, triplet quavers are 1 beat divided into 3. This is the same for any value of note. Triplet semiquavers are to fit into the space of 2 semiquavers, which equals half a beat, or a quaver. Therefore, triplet semiquavers are to fit into half a beat divided by 3. Before we go through a series of exercises that include treble clef reading, bass clef reading, and various different note lengths, we must cover one last topic, and that is time signatures. A time signature tells us how many beats we count in a bar. Every piece is divided up into bars, which are separated using a bar line. The time signature, which is shown at the beginning of the stave, tells us how many beats to count in each bar. A time signature is shown as one number on top of another. The bottom number tells us what type of note to count. For example, 4 equals crotchet, 8 equals quaver, 16 equals semiquaver, and 2 equals minim. The top number tells us how many to count. So a time signature of 4/4 means 4 crotchet beats in a bar. 3/4 means 3 crotchet beats in a bar. 3/8 means 3 quaver beats in a bar. 7/8 means 7 quaver beats in a bar. 2/2 means 2 minim beats in a bar. The time signature 4/4 is the most common, and therefore can sometimes be shown as a C, which means common time. Now that we have looked at treble clef, bass clef, rhythms, and time signatures, we can look at some examples and count through them to help start to bring everything together. In the next lesson, we will look at key signatures and accidentals. If you haven't quite got the hang of everything so far, you may want to re-watch our previous videos before moving on. These lessons are not a replacement for a teacher. Always refer to a skilled private teacher for personalised lessons. Visit Advanced Music School to learn more about our personal piano lessons. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.